Layoffs aren't random anymore. In 2026, the highest salaries are disappearing first, quietly, systematically, while most people are still arguing about entry-level jobs and startups collapsing at massive, profitable companies across America. Everywhere you look, another company, another cut, another announcement quietly slips past the headlines, creating the illusion that this is normal, when in reality, something far larger is unfolding beneath the surface. January 2026 set a record no one wanted to see. Over 100,000 layoffs announced in a single month, the worst January since 2009, during the depths of the financial crisis. This time, it isn't new graduates taking the hit. It's experienced professionals, sitting at the top of the ladder, suddenly finding themselves in the crosshairs. Across industries, the people most exposed right now are high earners, seasoned professionals who reach peak pay after decades of experience, only to discover that seniority and loyalty no longer offer the protection they once did. From a company's perspective, the math is brutally simple. One experienced professional can cost more than 2 junior employees combined, or more than a system that never asks for raises, rest, or job security. When executives need to cut costs fast, they don't debate performance or loyalty. They pull the lever that delivers immediate relief, and the highest salaries offer the quickest way to reshape the budget overnight. And here's the part no one likes to admit. These cuts aren't about poor performance or declining value. They're about speed and savings, even when the people being cut did everything right. Behind every cost-cutting decision is a person with real obligations: mortgages, families, retirement plans, people who followed the rules, built careers carefully, and suddenly find the ground beneath them no longer stable. The problem doesn't stop with losing a job. Many companies have already slowed hiring, which means experienced professionals are now competing in a market with fewer openings and thousands of others facing the same sudden reality. This isn't isolated to one sector or one city. Across the country, even the largest and most profitable companies are announcing cuts, showing just how widespread and coordinated this layoff wave has become. Companies like Amazon, UPS, Meta, and others aren't shrinking because they're failing. They're cutting tens of thousands of roles while remaining profitable, proving these decisions are strategic, not desperate, and focused on reshaping costs at scale. Independent tracking firms confirm it. Layoff announcements have surged compared to last year and even last month, proving this isn't isolated noise, but a measurable acceleration spreading across the economy. By January's end, tech layoffs had become routine, with hundreds of jobs disappearing each day, steadily and silently, across major companies. Not everyone faces the same risk. As companies plan cuts, certain groups quietly stand out as more vulnerable than others. According to business leaders, high earners sit at the top of the risk list, not because they failed, but because they cost the most. Right behind salary, another risk stands out clearly: employees who haven't adapted to AI, as companies increasingly replace routine work with faster, cheaper automated systems. Recent hires and entry-level workers also face elevated risk, especially when companies decide fast cuts are easier among employees with shorter tenure and fewer internal protections. Younger workers lack tenure, while older employees cost more and face quiet bias, leaving both ends of the workforce more exposed during broad cost-cutting decisions. Workers tied to visas or temporary structures face added risk, as companies prioritize flexibility and avoid complications during large-scale layoffs and rapid restructuring. This wave isn't driven by one cause. 4 powerful forces are colliding at once, reshaping how companies think about people, costs, and survival. Artificial intelligence is no longer experimental. Many companies are actively replacing specific roles, especially routine work, because automated systems operate faster, cheaper, and without fatigue. This shift isn't theoretical. Many companies have already replaced jobs with AI this year, quietly removing roles while workflows continue as if nothing changed. Middle management is being hit hard because AI now handles coordination, reporting, and routine decisions that once justified entire layers of experienced managers. Economic uncertainty is pushing companies into defensive mode, as unstable markets, shifting policies, and unpredictable growth make leaders cut costs early rather than risk deeper losses later. As growth slows, many companies are freezing hiring altogether, cutting open roles and reducing teams early to protect margins before economic pressure turns into a full downturn. During the pandemic, companies hired aggressively to meet digital demand, but as conditions normalized, that expansion proved unsustainable, forcing painful corrections across teams and departments. Some divisions absorbed massive investment without delivering returns, forcing companies to cut teams aggressively and redirect resources toward areas promising faster growth and clearer payoff. Trade policy shifts and tariff uncertainty are forcing companies to rework supply chains, relocate operations, and cut headcount to protect margins while navigating unpredictable global costs. These forces aren't acting alone. Together, they create a compound effect that accelerates layoffs and concentrates pressure precisely on the most expensive and replaceable roles. When executives run the numbers, decisions become mechanical. Reducing one expensive role can instantly reshape budgets and earnings, making layoffs feel efficient rather than personal. From a purely financial view, replacing one senior role with junior talent, automation, or flexible contractors often delivers immediate savings with fewer long-term commitments. The unsettling truth is that markets often reward layoffs, interpreting workforce reductions as efficiency gains, even when the human cost quietly rises beneath positive headlines. For employees, layoffs aren't abstract strategy. They collide with mortgages, families, and retirement plans, turning corporate efficiency into deeply personal uncertainty overnight. With hiring slowing across industries, laid-off professionals face intense competition, chasing fewer openings while thousands with similar experience enter the market at the same time. As competition intensifies, AI skills are becoming a clear divider, separating professionals who can amplify their output from those whose roles are quietly being reduced or removed. To understand the impact, listen to the experiences of professionals caught in this wave. People with decades of experience suddenly navigating uncertainty they never expected. A high-performing product manager was cut as leadership flattened teams. The coordination her group handled moved to automation, despite recent praise and exceptional results. A veteran marketing director was replaced by junior staff and automated tools, saving money while her search drags on, shadowed by quiet bias that's hard to prove. The common thread is simple. These people weren't failing or redundant. They were expensive, and in today's environment, cost often outweighs contribution. Even those who keep their jobs feel it. Trust erodes as employees stop negotiating, stop risking visibility, and quietly focus on staying unnoticed and replaceable. But fear alone isn't a strategy. For high earners, surviving this shift means acting deliberately, adapting skills, and making choices before circumstances force them. The first step is becoming AI fluent. Not someday, but now, learning how these tools amplify your work and make you harder to replace. Some sectors remain more resilient than others. Healthcare, manufacturing, and logistics continue hiring steadily, offering stability as many corporate roles face ongoing volatility. Today's hiring favors demonstrated skills over tenure. Repositioning your experience around capabilities, outcomes, and adaptability makes you far more competitive in a tightened market. Instead of one employer, many professionals are shifting toward consulting or fractional roles, offering expertise on demand without the cost or risk of full-time hires. Senior roles are rarely filled through postings. Strong networks surface opportunities early, making relationships a critical safety net when companies cut quietly and hire selectively. When layoffs are decided, visible impact matters. Documenting results, savings, and outcomes makes your contribution harder to ignore when leaders compare who stays and who goes. Financial preparation creates options. Building reserves and reducing debt lowers panic, giving you time to make deliberate choices instead of rushing into unfavorable work after layoffs. Sometimes stability means accepting a temporary step down. A smaller pay cut today can preserve continuity, flexibility, and long-term security instead of a forced reset later. Sometimes stability means accepting a temporary step down. A smaller pay cut today can preserve continuity, flexibility, and long-term security instead of a forced reset later. This reset also creates opportunity. New roles are forming around AI oversight, judgment, and collaboration, rewarding professionals who adapt early and position themselves intentionally. For high earners, this moment feels deeply unfair. You followed the rules, built expertise, and earned stability, only to discover cost now outweighs loyalty. You can't control layoffs or markets, but you can control preparation, skills, positioning, and choices that determine how exposed or protected you are moving forward. If this helped clarify what's happening, stay connected here. We break down shifts like this so you can prepare early, not react late. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. Share this with someone navigating the same uncertainty, and start the conversation before decisions are made for you. Your experience still matters, but in this new market, survival belongs to those who adapt early, stay relevant, and choose action over denial. If you want clearer thinking during uncertain times, stay here. We break down what's changing, why it matters, and how to stay ahead. The chaos doesn't stop overnight, but clarity changes how you move through it. Calm decisions made early always outperform panic reactions made late. When uncertainty becomes normal, stability comes from how you respond. Those who slow down, think clearly, and move intentionally gain an advantage others don't even see. Adaptation isn't about moving first or fastest. It's about choosing direction with intention, then letting consistency compound while others hesitate or wait for certainty. When pressure rises, choice matters more than speed. Calm, intentional decisions create stability, while rushed moves often amplify the very risk people are trying to escape. In unstable environments, clarity becomes an advantage. The people who pause, observe, and choose deliberately often outperform those reacting blindly to every new signal. Once you step back, the pattern becomes obvious. This isn't random chaos. It's a predictable shift that rewards preparation and punishes those relying on outdated assumptions. The divide is widening. Those who prepared early stand stable, while others stay exposed, reacting to every shift instead of shaping where they land next. The smartest move is acting early. Preparing while you still have options beats reacting later, when choices narrow and pressure makes every decision harder. Experience still matters, but only when paired with adaptation. In this market, flexibility and relevance aren't optional advantages. They're the price of staying in the game. This shift isn't personal, but your response is. Adapt early, stay relevant, and move with intention. That's how professionals survive and thrive in what comes next.